Hello everyone, and welcome back to another code cycling video. Today is actually not quite a tutorial. Today is actually a challenge for you guys. Now, we've done things from coding the weapon to messing with Kismet and all kinds of fun things. But one thing I think that you guys need to learn is the value of the forums and the UDNs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set you guys up on a basic project from a post that actually a fella was trying to get done, and I offered him some advice, so I figured I'd write it up and make a video about it and see if you guys could figure it out. Now, what I've done is he wanted a reflecting wall that would reflect projectiles back. In his case, I think he's trying for more of an instant fire weapon, so he's going to do it a little differently than that, so this will work out nice. Now what I've done is you can see there's this little static mesh here. Now it's not just any static mesh. When we actually go to the properties, you can see it's a GS reflector wall, which I'll show you the code for that in just a minute. Now, all you guys have to do is make a class that holds this static mesh, and you can find how to do this in almost any Unreal Tournament file, and I'm going to show you mine just so you have that as a reference as well. And I just pulled this straight out of the default stuff that Unreal gives you. It's a little wall texture and a little wall material, or a static mesh that is. So let's go ahead and get into the code, because we'll make this short so you guys can get working on it. Alright, so first off, you're going to have to go into your projectile, and you have to override this touch. You have to see if whatever you're hitting is a reflector wall. If it is, we're going to mirror the velocity by where we're at, or what our velocity is currently, and our hit normal. So basically it's going to do a 45-degree turn, and we want to set the rotation in that direction. That way it hits, turns, spews off. Now that's really that's it for this. Now if we go over to this class, GS Reflector Wall, all I did was extend an actor, which is about as low as you can get, and I defined some default properties. It's really that simple. There's not much to the wall. I mean, heck, for all that really matters, you could have set this as as don't even worry about this, just reflect off anything, which we will do in a minute just to show you guys, which I'm thinking about. I'll close out of that. So back to the wall. It's got some default properties I defined. First, B collide actors and B block actors are both set to true. We have the beginning of an object of class cylinder component, and its name is collision cylinder, which is a little bit of extra collision. That way it hopefully will hit that before it actually hits the wall, but this is not required. You know what, actually, just to make this simple on you guys, I'm going to go ahead and take that sucker out anyways. Okay. We have a dynamic light environment component named light environment. I decided to set it the B dynamic and B cast shadows defaults just to save on some processing. I just want some basic light on this thing. And then we end that object and we add it to our components. Now what this does, this defines an object in your default properties. And then what you're doing is you're adding that to your components array, which is all the bits that are on this object. So currently it's just the light environment. Now next thing is our static mesh components. So we begin an object of class static mesh component, we give it a name, we define where the static mesh is, and to get this, because this may not be very clear for a lot of guys, so if we go in here, actually let me go ahead and rebuild my source, which should take just a second. Alright. So if you're in your content browser and you're looking at, we'll say building meshes, we'll look at the one that I used. I believe it was this thing. You're going to highlight it, right click it, copy full name to clipboard. When you go back in here and you paste, it'll allow you to, I actually use bunker array, but it gives you that. So all I have to do is, put in static mesh is equal to, and then control V that sucker. Alright, next, we want to set collide actors, block actors, and block 0 extent to true. This will hit actors, stop actors, and then also stop 0 extent, which is trace and other stuff like that. These bits right here are not necessarily required, but just so you know what they are. You can set a default rotation for your mesh, a scale, which is like if you wanted to stretch it in any of the planes you could have, and your translation. And you can have some lighting properties, and you also set your light environment right here. Alright, and at the end of that object, we tell it to add it to our components. And that is the end of that object. It really is just a placeholder so that this can pick up, hey, I hit a reflecting wall. That's really all it is right now. Now, if you wanted to, we could always expand this with some other things like sounds when it gets hit and other stuff like that, but that's not important right now. All I want you guys to do is keep an eye on this piece of code, because I'm going to run it real quick for you and show you what it does right now. So if we play, as you can see, we got our wall. When I shoot it, it almost blocks it. And when you go to the side, it's better. But I don't know if you guys can see it or not. See the tail cutting through? That's what I want you guys to fix. I want you guys to research and try to figure out a way to handle that. And all you're going to be doing is messing in this function. This function and this class. You're going to be tuning up all the little bits of collision code and possibly even sharpening this up with your own, with some math of your own. But that's this week's challenge. I want you guys to really try to get used to that UDN and the Unreal Developer Forums, which are very good resources for any programmer who is doing this. I mean, this is a simple problem that you guys should be able to do. As always, I try to leave my screen up so you guys can see what's going on here. I'll even increase this a little bit, try to make it nicer. So you can see that. And once again, we'll scroll through this real quick just for a final bit. Alright, and it's really that simple. All I'm defining is a static mesh and a light and telling it to collide everything and that it's placeable so we can stick it on the screen. Oh, and just in case you guys don't got the hang of that yet, to place one, open up your content browser. Oh, it's down here, sorry about that. Actor classes, since mine's name is GS, you can see it's GS Reflector Wall. Literally click and drag, and there's a reflecting wall. Alright, as you can see, if we turned, it will bounce off it, kind of. Bam. Yeah, so that's this week's challenge. I want you guys to go in and sharpen up this collision and get it really bouncing around, alright? If you guys have any questions, feel free to always email us. We try to stay up with our email if you guys get stuck. And I'd like to see what you guys do, so feel free to post a video response and just let me know how things are going, alright? Good luck to you guys.